know, a lot of you think that I'm something special because I got a YouTube channel or something, that I know some secrets or something like that, but I'm gonna prove to you right now that's not true. I'm just like you. See, I printed up this guy specifically for a tutorial on how to do tattoos because I thought he'd look really cool with an armband tattoo. But I've been testing out how to do a new skin tone for a while now, and I finally got it to work on him, and now I'm too chicken to put anything over his skin. All that paint bravely, blah blah blah, it's just paint, doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm gonna wuss out too. I'll be over there, you know, in the corner with my tail tucked between my legs. Hey painting pals, welcome back to Mandy's Minis, and thank you so much for joining me today. I decided that we're going to do a different video for him, a big topic. It's always first question new painters ask, and that is, where do I place the highlights and shadows? Well, since that's such a big topic and it's been covered to death all over everyone else's tutorials, I'm going to tell you, watch Vince. Of course, you know, I love Vince. Hobby Cheating, his video on where to place lights and shadows, very helpful. And also, Scott, the Miniac, his video, very good. Vince's video will teach you all about volumetric shading, and Scott's videos goes really well into the different shapes and how that translates to the models. A little shortcut for you down there on the different shapes. We're gonna focus today on just how to apply the highlights. Now, I do already have the highlights on the skin, because again, I wasn't planning on doing this video here, but I'll go ahead and point those out, and we're gonna place the highlights on everything else for him. And you'll see what a big difference that makes in improving your model. So let's get into it. Okay, painting pals, we are back with our model. And here is where I'm going to explain why it depends. Or more importantly, what it depends on. And that is your lighting source. So when you're painting a model, the first thing you have to decide is, where is your lighting source coming from? Is it coming from here? From straight down? Is it coming from here? Is it coming from up from underneath? Because, you know, that could also be the case. Are there multiple lighting sources? So that's the first thing you want to think about when you're deciding how to paint a model. Now, 95% of the time, I do my lighting source coming this way. So from the upper right-hand corner. And maybe my fun editors will put in arrows for me instead of the weird paintbrush. Although, I don't know, something kind of fitting about that. That's kind of where almost all of my figures have the lighting source coming from, is this way. So on here, we can see what is already highlighted in the skin. You can see the forearm, which is like a rectangle. So you can see it has a line down the side of the rectangle. So that's kind of the way that would highlight. The palm is a little different. We're getting a little bit of highlight here, and then a little bit over here, and it's following the shape of the area, because when you look at your hand, you kind of have two little round spots here. And then the knuckles get highlighted as well. So, because those tend to pick up more light. Then over here, we've got some hitting this. So when the sun coming down this way, we're hitting this side, which is actually weird. Usually when you're highlighting from the right side's going to be more hit. But because of the turn of his head, the left side actually is getting hit with more light, and the right side is a little more shadowed. Now, because he's got such a big collar, I actually was able to get away with not doing very many highlights on his chest at all. Just a little tiny bit over here. And then we're down here to this other hand. And again, this is all pulled back, so the light is not really hitting that as defined. So over here we go up to just our midtones with the rest being shaded. And the fingers, the tips of the fingers are also getting some highlights, as well as, you know, your nice little ball here. And this little ball has kind of deformed into more of an oval, so the highlight deformed with it. Also, when it comes to metal, I did do the highlighting on the metal, and that's just the areas closest again. So up here, same thing over here, and then a little metal up there. That's where we're starting from. If he didn't have such stubble, you can actually see his chin here is a little lighter than the rest of the stubble. It's not a full highlight because of course the stubble's breaking up the light. So that's kind of how you want to think about it, is how is the light hitting the area of the model? Certain parts and certain materials are going to highlight differently. So for example, the hair is going to follow a lot less rules, and that's going to follow more rules of hair, which I'm not going to go into very much. If you guys want to see that, I have an entire playlist of how to paint different hair colors and my secret recipes for them, which aren't very secret because I put them out in public. The hair is going to reflect differently than the metal, is going to reflect differently than the fabric. So, and the different types of fabric are going to reflect differently. So what we're doing is we're always painting essentially the light in the model. You know, color actually is only visible because of the light, the different lights reflecting off of it, and, you know, your shadows and your highlights. So essentially when we're painting, we're just painting the light into the model, depending on whether you're shading or highlighting. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with the blue fabric. And now the thing that you want to think about when you're doing blue fabric is very much what type of fabric is it? Because some fabrics do not reflect much at all. Other fabrics reflect quite a bit. So I'm actually imagining that the orange is not very reflective. So I'm going to put some highlights on there, but not as much as I'm going to put in other places, mostly because I hate working with orange. Orange is a very difficult color. He looks like, to me anyway, he looks like an 80s rock star who is guest starring in some cheesy 80s fantasy show. So we're gonna make this blue fairly reflective, and the sun's going to hit these corners, these edges, pretty high. Now another thing that I want you guys to note here is I am currently using a global highlight color. So if you don't know what that is, you can check out my video on finding color. Looking over here at the blue, we're also going to hit these raised areas right away from the folds. Those are going to hit as well. Now the amount that they're going to get is going to be determinant on, again, what type of material it is and how reflective we want to make it, that sort of thing. I'm skipping the top area because that's getting into his armpit, and although his arm is up, it's also going to be shadowed. There's also going to be shadow coming down from his arm, blocking a little bit of sun. And then over here on this side, we're going to hit a little bit of this as well. Wow, that is a bright shadow, a bright highlight. You would be correct. I am using bigger jumps, and I will glaze it back down to blend it in much better when I'm done. You can do smaller steps if you'd like. Nothing wrong with that, and then you wouldn't have to glaze it back down, but that's just personal preference. Now what I'm doing with this is I'm staying inside the previous highlights. That's where they would be more concentrated. Now the other thing I want you to notice is where I dropped off. As you get further from the light source, the intensity of the highlights are going to drop off. So they're going to get smaller and smaller. Now because I'm using ice yellow as a global highlight, it's got this sort of a greenish look to it in the highlights, which I really actually enjoy playing with green highlights on blue. I feel like they just tend to work so very well. So now I am going to go ahead and glaze, and that way I can decide if I want to go back up again to make it even brighter. I guess keep it where it is basically what I'm trying to say. Apparently talking is not good for me today, and well, that's pretty bad when my whole job here is to talk to you. It's actually very funny because yesterday everyone I know had a bad day and I didn't. And while today was not a bad day for me, it kind of feels like it was in terms of I can't talk, and this kind of kept going wrong and that kind of kept going wrong, but nothing too bad. Well, for the sake of teaching, I'm going to leave that alone right now. I'm going to get on with the orange. Once again, it's going to hit strongest over here, where we're higher up and closer to the light source. Here we're going to have a little bit of that as well, but definitely not as harsh, because again, that's moving away from the light. And the nice thing about the orange is it kind of self-blends. I don't feel like it's too stark like the blue was, so I don't have to glaze it down. That's the phrase. Once again, I apologize. I can't seem to talk. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is very, very important. And I promise this is going to be the last thing that I'm going over here. And that's because I want to talk about these crystals. Now, I'm doing these as kind of a black onyx or just a black stone, but crystals work backwards, just like glass. So the light is coming down from here, but depending on how translucent it is, now if I'm doing black onyx stones, it's nice and simple and straightforward. But if I'm trying to do it crystal, like maybe it's a little transparent, then the light would be going through it and catching at the bottom. So that's how glass and translucent items work. So now I have to decide, is this translucent or is this solid? Pardon the interruption, painting pals, but you need to enter the Mandy's Minis Crydruffy giveaway. Our friends at Crydruffy are allowing us to give away 2 of their amazing painting systems. The full system, the wet palette, the storage, the water cups, the brush holders, the whole shebang. So we're going to be giving away 1 deluxe model and 1 regular model. So to enter, you need to go to the Mandy's Minis YouTube page. And you're going to click subscribe. Unless you're already subscribed, don't click it again and unsubscribe. Then click visit community. Now this is a new feature on YouTube where you're going to be able to post your own works, comments, everything to Mandy's Minis YouTube page. So take advantage and upload the photo of wherever your workspace is. Get in your entry by August 3rd. August 3rd is the deadline at midnight Eastern Standard Time. Okay, and then we're gonna randomly select our 2 winners live on our grand Twitch live stream event. This is the start of our brand new Twitch page. So if you aren't on Twitch, that's okay. The live stream is also played on YouTube simultaneously, so you don't have to go there. We are going to be having a grand event with more surprises and awesome stuff on that live stream. and that's going to be Wednesday, August 6th from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you get your entries in, and best of luck. And I'm going to try doing some outlining here, see what I like. And I don't like any of that so far. Now the funny thing is, this is not actually black, this black stone that I'm doing. It is actually Pro Acrylics Payne's Gray. And that is one of Vince's favorite colors. He uses all the time. I don't like it just because Vince says to like it, I promise. Now the good news for you guys is I do have a video coming soon, well, relatively soon, where I will be doing glass. I'm talking about glass. So if that is something you're interested in, definitely ring that bell and subscribe so you get notified when it comes out. And the key to these kind of light lines that I'm kind of sort of doing, kind of sort of messing up, is to just be very gentle, just very light touch. And as you can tell, I'm not doing very well with light touch today. So this is what I do sometimes when I don't quite know what I should do. I'm kind of just throwing things out to see what sticks and what looks good and what desperately needs help. And don't be afraid to move the model, to twist, get to where you need to get to. Is there some kind of rule? I think there is. That like when you're doing something delicate and soft, you just can't talk at a regular volume. Go down to a whisper, because even your voice has to be delicate. That's my theory anyway. I might be crazy. Actually, we all know I'm crazy. It's just that theory might be crazy. We may or may not be getting some new merch soon in the store with the Self-Sabotage logo. So let me know if you're interested in that, because it's supposed to be in the works, but I mean, I gotta say, honestly, I've kind of had merch low priority for a while. But if you guys are interested, if that's something you want, just let me know and I'll move up the priority. And there we go. Now you know highlighting and the general idea of volumetric highlighting. The important part is know where your light is coming from and make sure that anything hitting it is coming off the way it would reflect. So whether that be very, very bright or just a little bit or somewhere in between, however it's going to happen. Thank you once again, Painting Pals, for joining me and making it through yet another video. You guys are true awesome heroes. Thank you so much. I have to say, my true heroes, of course. Special thank you to our patrons. You guys are the best. Such a fantastic community, and I absolutely adore how we're growing and all the fun that I've been able to have with you guys. Very excited about all sorts of new ways for you guys to be able to connect with me. Honestly, that's the main reason I have my channel, is just to connect with you and give back to a community that's helped me through a lot of hard things in my life. So thank you again. Don't forget, there's still time. We have our Crydrufi contest. We are giving away 2 Crydrufi systems. So check out the Mandy's Minis YouTube page community tab and click visit community and post your entry for a chance to win one of 2 Crydrufis on our special live stream. Until next time, have fun and keep creating.